So I'm just going to do a bit of a walk by at the moment. This is Jianghua Nanlu. Nanlu means South Street, Lu, South Road. Now this other side of the street, it's mostly clothing shops and uninteresting businesses, and nobody sort of goes on that side of the street. This side of the street is more restaurants. Here's a Kentucky. I remember back in the day, say 2005, when they first came to China, Kentucky, and the queues would be out the door and around the corner. And they were popular for many, many years. But I'm sure if I went inside, there'd be lucky to be two people there nowadays. I mean, Chinese are great at ripping foreign products off. They have their own version of KFC nowadays. Now, what I wanted to talk about was how safe it is in China. China would be the safest place that I've ever been, by far. And I remember one time there was a murder, and 3 months later it was still the talk of the town. I've been to many restaurants, bars, nightclubs, never ever seen a fight. Yes, you'll hear people arguing a lot, but the only fight I ever saw was between my ex-wife and a neighbour. I'd come home from class or whatever, and we had a garage, and she'd parked right in front of it. And I told her, you know, to move. She had her own garage. I said, park in your garage. And she said, if she parks there, someone will park in front of it and she won't be able to get out. I said, well, I can't get in, you know, move your friggin' ass. Anyway, my wife, from about 4 stories up, heard the commotion, and she come down, fists flaying, and the two of them were into it. My wife actually came off second best, but anyway, the police came, and the policeman said to me, she had a bit of a blood nose. He said, don't wipe the blood off, just, I'll take you to a hospital. So he takes her to a hospital, and we'll go down here. They said there's nothing wrong with her, and there wasn't. He said, don't worry, get back in the car, we'll go to another hospital. And he went to a hospital until they took her, and yes, she did spend about 4 or 5 days in the hospital. Totally unnecessary, just for a blood nose. But she ended up, the other woman that was in the fight, ended up having to pay my wife 80,000 RMB. Now, when you consider the average salary at that time was probably 3,000 a month, that was a lot of money. And it's all because of what your status is. And because my wife owned a restaurant before, and at the time she had a, I mean, this was probably 10, 15 years ago, she had she was awarded the woman's something or other about her business sense or whatever, and because her restaurant was so successful. Yeah, anyway, here's another one. At least he isn't going 30 kilometres an hour and beeping his horn. Yeah, the other thing is taxis. Now, I've taken a lot of taxis in China, and only twice have I been ripped off. Once, actually my auntie was out here, and got a taxi back to my apartment, and the fare, I knew it should have been about 15, and he was going the wrong way, and I said to him, no, go this way, and he said, no, it's too busy that way. So I knew which way I was going to go, because I had a fair idea of what the cost should be, and I know all the streets in the city. So I could see the meter was going up very quickly, And we arrived home, and it should have been about 15, and it was 50. I said, no, I'm not paying you that. And he'd locked all the doors, and the knobs had been taken off the doors, and he started to drive away. So I grabbed the steering wheel and pulled him to the curb and took his keys. And in the meantime, my auntie's around down her window, and she climbed us out. I don't know how she did it. And I told her what apartment to go to, tell them to call the police. And I'm banging on the front window, and it's smashed. So we all get taken to the police station. And my boss, even from the school, had to go there as well. Now the guy said he thought we were Russians, and yes, he was trying to rip us off. He admitted it all. But he said it was going to cost him over 1,000 RMB to get his windscreen fixed and his appropriate licenses attached to it. So I ended up having to pay 200 RMB just so he had face. And that's a big thing in China. Everybody's got to have face. Even if you're totally in the wrong, you've got to try and give them some face. Oh, incidentally, I used to teach in a school up here. It will be closed now because these schools aren't allowed. So I'd ride my bike in here, jump in the elevator with the bike, take it up to the appropriate floor and ride to my classroom. Yeah, this face thing it's very hard for a foreigner to comprehend it. It's a bit like we're on the tour in the bus, and after we've been to a jewellery shop, the tour guides was like naming and shaming people who didn't buy things. And I just stood up, put my hand up, yeah, I'm one of them, no problem for me, I don't need face. What do I want for lunch? Mini pizzas. 18 RMB, gotta be joking. This one's closed. Potato chips, but these won't be deep. Oh, he's got a deep fryer there. Oh, look at these big ice creams here. I wonder how much they are. They're usually 25 RMB. Yeah, they do look appetizing. Why has it got straws in it? I don't know. I need to ask a Chinese person what's inside. So it's probably all the bottom part is a drink. Probably tea. I'm not going to. Won't go there. Not sure what they are. Yeah, here's another fucking. Oh yeah, I'm using that word again. Bit of chicken maybe. So what do we got? 13 RMB. For a leg, wings 8 RMB. Tips 11. Right, this might be lunch. Nah, I think barbecue looks more appealing. 这个什么？
这个鸭肉串，
羊肉，
对，
一个多少钱
5块一串，
？5块。
对，
这个鸡肉
对，鸡肉6块，
6块。
对，
给我2个。
这个2个。
对，好的。
辣椒要不要？辣椒
不要辣椒。